Welcome to Aftermarket, it's BY here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a live cup of the highly anticipated Jordan 1 Mochas. As always, please like and subscribe to our channel if you like our videos, and leave me a comment about what your experience was with this release if you were running, and if you guys want to see any additional content up on our channel. And also, if you guys can, give us a follow on Instagram at Aftermarket. For this release, I was running Kodai, and I wasn't really too sure what kind of proxies to use because, as you guys know, this was the first big release where Footsites were switching over to their new antibot data dome from Akamai, which they've been using for the past few months. I'm not an expert at the intricate differences. I just know that data dome requires you to solve a CAPTCHA if your IP is marked as risky, and that data dome was really messing with a lot of proxies to the point where the week leading up to the release, no one really knew what was going to work. I didn't really think too much into it because I just kind of wasn't sure if what was true, what was not, what was a rumor, what was false. So I kind of went with my tried and proven proxies. So I was running Oculus ISPs as well as Hex Resi X residentials, a good mix of those two. As you can see, like when the release first started, my ISPs were doing okay. They were actually going through and kind of getting me the right task statuses, but I did see that a few of my Resi proxy lists were just dropping like flies, but I just kind of had to quickly replace those. And then after I did, everything kind of was showing me proper tasks. So data dome, for me initially at least, wasn't a big deal. A few minutes into the release, I did get my first checkout, which kind of, always relieves you because of all the time that you spent setting up and kind of wondering whether or not you're going to hit. It's always nice to see that first checkout come through. And after that first one came through, I started seeing more and more coming through, which is always a good feeling, especially because I know that there was rumors that the stock level for these was going to be really, really high. There was rumors about 1 million pairs going through and kind of it being like a big GR. But as you guys probably felt when the release started, it was a lot harder to get your hands on these. And if you were checking the resale prices during the release, you saw that the prices were slowly creeping up versus, like on a regular release day. During the release and afterwards, the prices start, slowly going down. This Footsite release was a little bit weird because they did release at 10 a.m. as always, but about an hour in, I started seeing some messages pop up on Discord saying that the Footsites were going to pull their stock, which they ended up doing. So I took that time to kind of regroup. I refreshed my proxy lists where I could, and instead of trying to burn data, I just kind of left only one task group running at a very, very high delay. As you can see, I'm running my ISPs on a 20,000 delay, and my mind was I was going to wait and see once the products were loaded back up. You see the statuses would start changing, and then I would go ahead and kind of start my other tasks. So this was kind of one of the weirder releases. Footsites kind of dropped similar to like how I would assume that Easy Supply would drop, where they kind of load the product, then pull it, then load, then pull it. But after I refreshed my proxies, they ended up kind of delaying the release for like an hour to two. But once they kind of started the release back up again, I did manage to grab a few more pairs. As you can see coming up, my tasks started changing back to their regular statuses. And once that Footsites loaded back up their products, I did see more checkouts coming through. Kodai was the only bot I was running for this release. You can see in my previous videos for Footsites, sometimes I would turn Phantom on, but at this point, I have not checked out a pair or pretty much anything with Phantom for like at least a year. It has been super quiet for it. So right now, Phantom is kind of just collecting dust. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. For Polaris, I only use that to run Easy Supply. I know they have a Footsites module, but I didn't really want to kind of like set that up and take my shot there either. So Kodai is the only bot that I run for Footsites. In terms of what Kodai did for Data Dome, they kind of built in a few kind of new features, such as the ignored Data Dome CAPTCHA option, so that you can see that I don't really have many captchas popping up, because if you have that mode or that option enabled, it'll kind of just cycle through your proxy lists if it detects that one of your proxies requires a captcha. So none of my ISPs were really getting too much activity going on, but my resis were kind of going down pretty fast. But the point for me is that with resis, I just load a shit ton in there and turn on the ignore, and it seemed to be working out fine for me. So I'll probably do that moving forward. So this release, like I said, was pretty tough. People thought it was going to be easy. It really wasn't. I think I had a pretty good day. I walked away with 8 pairs, 7 men's, 1 GS. Kodai was running pretty smooth. I was really relieved that I wasn't having many issues that I saw some other people on Discord were having, and I was also pretty satisfied that my Hex ResiX residential proxies and my Oculus ISPs, for the most part, were doing their thing. I can't really give a conclusion about which proxies are going to work better than others. I do know that people were saying that data center proxies are dead. I did have probably a little bit more success with my Oculus ISPs than I did with my resis, but it wasn't enough that I would kind of lean away. So I think for the next release, I'll probably keep mixing my ISPs with my resis. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and catch me on the aftermarket.